That was not a good golf swing at all. I've hit a good shot down the fairway and I've wasted it, and it felt like I put maximum effort in, but I put maximum effort in from the wrong part of my golf swing. Let's take a look at that swing and find out what happened in today's lesson. Okay then, not one of my best there. So let's take a look at that golf swing and find out exactly what just happened, because I noticed this with one of my players, James, the other day, that he was putting in some really good swings and a lot of effort, but one thing was really starting to hamper him, and it's quite a common problem, this. So if we just put this golf swing up there, what we'll notice as it goes through slow motion, the shaft gets a little bit steeper in the downswing, and I also lose my balance and feel like I'm almost shoulder barging the golf swing as opposed to actually making a golf swing. It looked like a bit more of an aggressive movement throughout the golf swing, and that was all because of my lead shoulder, so my left shoulder for me as a right-handed player. And what's happening there is I get up to the top of my backswing. Obviously we can't see it from face on from that image, but what everything happened was that the downswing was triggered by my left shoulder really racing off and chasing out towards the target, hence why it almost pulled me out of position. Well, it did, and I fell a little bit forwards. I got a real dodgy contact on the face and hit this horrible squirty slicey shot there. So for a lot of speed and a lot of momentum and a lot of action and force, I didn't really benefit from it. It actually felt like nothing was good about that golf swing. So if we can change the feeling and the perception of what we're trying to do with the lead shoulder, then hopefully we'll start to see a bit of a benefit from the effort we put in from our golf swings. So the golf swing, this is going to sound crazy to you, is only 6 inches long. Bit weird, isn't it? I thought the golf swing went all the way around there, Matt. The lead shoulder only travels 6 inches long. And what I mean by that is, in that swing where I hit the poor shot, I made a great backswing. And as we see there now, my lead shoulder starts here and travels to about here. So as I swing through, that lead shoulder is moving roughly about 6 inches from its starting position. In the downswing, it probably moved about 18 inches because it raced off and actually went out towards the target, which I find with a lot of my students. Obviously we hold the golf club with our hands, which are connected to our arms and then our shoulders. So sometimes when we try and put a little bit more effort into it and give it that little extra 10%, what we see is that it's all done by throwing this lead shoulder forwards, which in turn from this angle here, as I do that, throws the club out of position, all from me trying to put a little bit more effort in. So with James that came the other day and we saw that he was actually getting into this position, we had to just almost get him the feeling of slowing down. And what I saw from a lot of his swings when we slowed them down was that he'd get raced out in front and then would really tilt up this way. So he never actually had any turn of his shoulders. Everything was drive, tilt to try and slow it down because his brain knew that he'd done something wrong and then was trying to counteract, so he was getting a lot of heavies for him, and then afterwards he would and then just let the club fling into position afterwards. So the feeling we had for James, what I started to let him do was get some clubs and put them across his shoulder here. So he'd make the swing, and what I'd say to him was like, I want you now to just pull this club head back around you, so can you put it behind your head for me? So he'd make the swing and he'd try to put it behind his head here, and what we see now, as opposed to the shoulder racing off in this way, he started to actually just turn. He already had a good drive of his legs, so if we could couple that with actually starting with the hips and the belt buckle moving forwards and then feeling that the shoulder turned, what we started to see was that he wasn't racing out of position and getting the shaft so steep into his downswing. So we got good backswing, and then it was feeling that this was almost a little bit redundant, so it would come under and turn. The trail shoulder drops under and then they turn the shoulders into your finish position. And what I was getting him to do, I wanted him every single time, as opposed to being here a little bit in his finish, almost leaning forwards and not getting this club to match the line of the mat that we had. I wanted him to feel that he went here, turn, and match the cane up, or the club, to actually see that it was in line with the target. So he was actually stood facing in a balanced position. And he, after a while, he sort of described his shoulder as feeling like a little bit dead. He said that his left side of his body now almost felt a little bit redundant. It was still working, that he actually pushed forwards towards the target in transition. He got this little turn, but instead of everything going down and racing this way, where we see the left shoulder down and racing, he just thought, right, let it turn up and around, and it felt almost lifeless. And what we started to see was that he was getting good sequencing and starting to actually hit far better shots there. So we went through some small ones where he had to pitch them off and feel that he was turning more and getting this body to rotate instead of race forwards. So if you are someone who feels that everything you do is more of a drive and your swing looks out of sync and looks like an aggressive barge towards target, let's have some practice swings to start off with, where you put the club on, take your right hand and turn the club head behind yourself here. So turn it, and you'll see you start to get some good syncing of what's going on here, as opposed to race and then try and actually match up and do whatever you've done wrong and try and counteract it. So good swing and turn. Go through a few shots where you just literally pitch some small ones off, you stand and turn, and even there you could hear on the microphone that was a far better strike. I got a tiny little draw, and actually for minimal effort I've nearly got the same distance as that complete effort and shoulder barge from the starting one. So go through some of those and then build it up. And like I say, it's almost one of the things I said to James, you've got to wait for the left shoulder. And what I mean by that is that you're not letting it race out. Let the left shoulder wait and then turn it at the end, as opposed to it going first. Let it be the last thing in your sequence to actually rotate. So swing and wait, swing and wait. We started to get a far better turn on them, and what we were seeing towards the end of the lesson was some really good golf swings, a bit like this, and seeing some really nice draws. And there, hit the green, nice, has gone further, and actually a better struck shot, a better control shot, just by feeling that I'm not getting this left shoulder racing out of control, feeling that everything I do is left side to start off with, and feeling that this has been the thing that actually caused all my problems. Turn, wait for it, then turn it behind you. So guys, if you are someone who feels like all your swings are having a lot of effort but you're not seeing great results from it, check that this lead shoulder isn't racing out of control, isn't racing you into bad positions and you're trying to counteract for it. Let's make some swings where we go a little bit smoother and quieter and just feel that this is starting to turn and tilt a little bit instead of being the big leader of the golf swing. I'm going to hit one more there because it felt so good, that last one. So here, in, beautiful little strike there, and as I go through it felt nice and solid and not a wasted effort. So guys, if you've enjoyed that, make sure you start to give that a go. Go through that drill there where you put the club across your shoulders and turn and turn, and do some of those. If you've enjoyed this lesson, remember, give it a thumbs up. If you do want to be me to be your golf coach, remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. Guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.